April the 8th, 1944.28 thousand feet, Berlin. The air is razor cold, so thin your lungs sear with every intake of air. Captain Don Gentile tightens his grip on the control yoke of his P-51 Mustang Shangri-La as he banks hard into a churning storm of tracers. The air is thick with B-17s unloading their loads of high explosive on the blazing city. Overhead, a frenzied mesh of Fokker Wolf 190s and Messerschmitts curves through space like a flash. One can almost sense the G-force pressing against Gentile's chest as he spots the 109 on his wingman's tail. "Break right, Godfrey," he growls over the radio. Then he's on the tail of the German plane. 6.50 calibers fire, rat-tat-tat, and the Messerschmitt is bathed in orange fire as it spirals down in black smoke. One kill, but there's no shortage of enemy planes. More bandit pour in to outnumber the Mustang planes 3-1. That's it, the point at which everything will change. For the first time, P-51s have the range to escort bombers deep into the heart of the Reich and home again. No more turning back at the Rhine and leaving the bombers to be slaughtered. Gentile and the 4th Fighter Group are on the attack, taking an active role in defending against an attack. Another FW-190 takes hold of Godfrey's 6, guns flashing. Gentile flips his plane inverted, dives, pulls lead, fireball again. Flak strips the sky, oil spills on his canopy, fuel dwindling. Still, the Mustangs go on, racking up kill after kill. Now the Luftwaffe, invulnerable just yesterday, becomes the hunted. Gentile brings down 2 more before limping back on fumes, his Shangri-La pocked with holes. In one afternoon, the balance will shift forever. But how did this plane, created in only 102 days, become the deadliest fighter plane in the sky, and the only machine to ever shatter the Luftwaffe's back? October the 14th, 1943, 26,000 feet, over Schweinfurt, Germany. On board B-17 Tenerife, Walter G. Waddy Young struggles to maintain position in formation amidst the pummeling from black flak bursts. The atmosphere is heavy with cordite smoke, laced with apprehension. You can smell the sweat emanating through the crewmen's oxygen masks, searching anxiously through the empty sky strung behind them. The P-47s turned back an hour ago at the Rhine. Radio silence until the gunners erupt in cries of bandits 12 o'clock high. More than 60 Fokker Wolf 190s and Bf-109 swoop down in beautifully practiced synchronization, their cannons flashing. The bomber stream holds tight, the gunners firing furiously, but it's carnage. One by one, the fortresses swing off with streamers of smoke and parachutes that burst open too late. 60 bombers, 600 men. Black Thursday, they'll label it in England, where empty bunks and silent mess halls speak volumes. The 8th Air Force is on the brink of abandoning its daylight bombing campaign. Penetrating Germany without range, engineered escorts is suicidal. Berlin, Ploietti. The oil targets off limits. At the debriefing shack at Thorpe Abbotts, Colonel Curtis LeMay stands frozen before the loss board. His voice dull, "We can't afford this." The generals back in Washington demand answers. The P-38 thirsty for too much gas. The only good thing about the P-47 is its ruggedness, short range. Drop tanks are a help but no solution. The bombers are leaking, and the Luftwaffe lies in wait beyond the fighter gap. Yet hope beckons across the channel. In a hangar at Duxford's RAF test pilot Ronald Harker has just completed a series of flights with the initial Mustang prototype powered by the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. The appraisal is like a thunderclap. Pair the Packard built Merlin with this streamlined fuselage, and the aircraft is invincible at high altitudes, faster, higher, longer ranging than the escorts combined. The first P-51B planes are crossing the Atlantic. Some pilots talk among themselves about a plane that can fly to Berlin and then fight its way back. The bleeding must stop, and soon the hunters will become the hunted. March the 6th, 1944, 26,000 feet over Berlin. The German capital lies shrouded once again in a new layer of smoke as 800 bombers come back to knock some sense into it. New window today. 600 P-51 Mustangs line up to pave their way through. One feels the change in the B-17 aircraft that await their turn. There is a difference of atmosphere now, a difference of preparation. The dreaded home journey is over. Now there is protection to be had. Big friends, this is Red Leader, comes the voice on the radio. We're with you to the target and all the way back. Let's give him hell. There is no other choice for the Luftwaffe. More than 200 fighters scramble to protect their capital, but just as soon as they can gain altitude, the trap is sprung. Captain Chuck Yeager, only 21, flies wing for the 357th Fighter Group. He spots a bunch of Bf-109s scrambling for height. Drop tanks, go. The fuel, sack tanks fall away, and the Mustangs surge ahead, agile and deadly. Jaeger rolls to pursue a 109, gets into 300 yards in an instant. A brief burst, sparks, smoke, then flames. The German begins to spin to ground. Jaeger is already turning for his next. The carnage spreads across the sky. The Mustang's streamlined wings shave through air. Its two-stage Merlin engine outclimbs all others. 6.50s bip through enemy planes as if they are paper. The 4th Fighter Group downs 23 planes. The 354th takes down an additional 18. American casualties barely a dozen. On the ground, Adolph Galland hears the desperate voice on the radio. The long-range Mustangs, they chase us to the trees. Experienced units are wiped out. By May, the Luftwaffe's monthly claims sink from hundreds to less than 100, a loss of over 500 of their own planes in the process. The hunters are now the hunted. The oil plants are on fire. The factories are silent. The crews that previously feared every bombing mission now fly with confidence. The Mustang is no longer an escort. The Mustang is a hunter, and one pilot will soon find himself pitted against 30 foes all by himself and discover the true power of this plane in the process. January the 11th, 1944, altitude 22,000 feet, over Oschersleben, Germany. The bomber stream pushes on towards essential aircraft plants, flak erupting thick around the B-17 bombers. Propping up the bombers comes the green 354th Fighter Group, flying their brand new P-51B. 51B, Howard Game Howe, with Ding Howe up. Of the 356th Squadron takes a look around. Then, more than 150 Luftwaffe fighters strike hard. Bf-109s, FW-190's powerful Zerstras. Howard's wingmen are split up or lured away. The bombers down below are vulnerable. Imagine the pleas from the anti-aircraft gunners, fighters all around. Where are the Mustangs? A silver P-51 plunges straight into the storm. Howard attacks alone. He climbs into the sun, then cuts back at two FW-190s pounding a lagging fortress. The guns are speaking, all puffing, then spinning away hot. He rolls, yanked the leader's tail, then gets the Bf-109 lining up on the same box. Another burn, another fireball. For 30 uninterrupted minutes, he flies solo. Each time a Zerster comes lumbering in with rockets, Howard gets on their tail and forges them to break. Each time fighters regroup, he tears through their ranks with high-speed passes. Tracers connect his wings. Fluid is escaping, but the Merlin cries out long. Bomber crews and witness wonder at the lone Mustang cutting through dozens to intercept attacks. Finally, the heavies release their payloads, turning west. The Germans, wounded, withdraw. Howard, his ammo all but expended, rejoins his element. His plane is devastated, but Howard manages to get it back. At Boxted, his bomber crews pack around him. He saved the whole damn bunch, says one airman. Howard is awardee of the Medal of Honor, the only fighter pilot in Europe to win such an honor. His defiance shows the Mustang power enough to reach the fray, speed enough to reign supreme in it, enough ruggedness to survive in it. One man, one machine, isolation until the tide turns with the P-51's days are numbered for the Luftwaffe. Victory lies wide open ahead. 60 years ago, June the 6th, 1944, Normandy beaches, with the greatest invasion force ever assembled striking the beaches. P-51 Mustangs roar overhead, strafing enemy bunkers, tearing apart enemy columns, dominating the skies. By dusk, the Luftwaffe is no more. The road to Berlin is clear. American Mustangs alone destroy some 5,000 enemy planes in the skies of Europe. The war is won, but the thunder rolls on. The 25th of June, 1950, Korea erupts from storage. Hundreds of P-51s return to their F-51D form. Through hills and ice, filled lakes, rockets, and napalm plunge them down, blowing tanks and supply chains to shreds. Squadrons such as that of the 18th Fighter Bomber Group bomb all day and all night, and turn back progress with fiery carcasses. The Mustang may be outclassed by its opponent's jets, but not so on the ground below the Yalu River. The final combat flight occurs in 1957, although retirement does not ever truly follow. December the 28th, 2025, somewhere in Chino, Duxford, or maybe at Oshkosh, a well-oiled P-51D taxis out, and its Merlin roars to life with that inimitable grunt. The pilot opens up the throttle. The Silver Stallion effortlessly accelerates, rises, and boosts into a blue, unblemished sky. You can't help but deliver your own body vibrations as this airless, efficient instrument of death motors by. Hundreds remain in service to this day, the most of any World War I era fighter. Some will be airshow favorites, rolling alongside F-22s and heritage formations. Then there's the racing crop, flying past the 500 miles per hour mark with racing fuels and Merlins that scream. The P-51 isn't merely the greatest all-piston fighter ever constructed. It saved countless bomber crews, destroyed the Luftwaffe, and cut short the deadliest conflict in history, from the frozen air over Europe to the valleys of Korea and into the blue today. Its legend lives on. Scott McCarter, in his forward introduction, "One machine, one sound, eternal thunder."